of Ghana, Justice Gertrude Araba Isaba Saki Tokono. And we are taking advantage of the GBA's special program with the lawyers all over here to take some inspiration from her on the occasion of Mother's Day. So let's begin by hearing from the GBA.
Hello everybody. I think it's indeed a pleasure to be here under all of this greenery with the Chief Justice of the Republic of Ghana, Justice Gertrude Araba. Today, the Greater Accra Regional Bar presents a forum for young lawyers to seek inspiration from the mother of our profession, to ask her questions about what it means to be the Chief Justice of the Republic of Ghana. Now, I always say that one of the best ways of getting a sense of somebody's heart is what they do in their guarded and unguarded moments. When we invited Her Ladyship to the Greater Accra Regional Bar cocktail last Christmas, I found it so moving that when she came, we introduced her. She asked, "Is my daughter around? Where is she? Is she here somewhere?" And I said to myself, at that point, it was not about being Chief Justice, even though that was why she had been invited. It was about her daughter. And I said that for somebody whose heart is so amazing, for her to be thinking about her daughter even at that time, we know that this is the kind of mother of the profession that we want. So we're really excited to be here. We are looking forward to listening to you, having an intimate conversation with you. And we know that we'll leave you inspired, more buoyed up to do the great things that we know that we can do in the profession. So again, thank you, Her Ladyship, for this special opportunity. Thank you.
Just a couple of weeks ago,
motives. Some of them really just there to do their work. And you have to navigate all the different personalities, all the different postures. And so if you don't come to the bench with rules, you can hardly get your work done. And so really, being a judge is about being strict, or a judge on the bench is about being strict. Strict with managing time, managing process, managing the different submissions, and managing the courtroom.
Right. What is the significance of Mother's Day to you?
I think that we have all these: Justice Day, Friends Day, Women's Day, Father's Day, because we want to celebrate particular context of humanity and human society. And you cannot celebrate humanity without celebrating motherhood, because that's the first point of calling for any human being. And being a mother myself, a grandmother myself, I thoroughly enjoy all the different greetings and all the different stuff you get from everybody. So when I got the call that you wanted to have a by the fireside of Mother's Day, I even thought it was from the Women's Forum.
Okay.
I didn't realize that it was from the bar generally, but it's a time that is useful for all of us to appreciate, and a context that is useful.
So how much has your mother and other mothers impacted your journey, which has culminated so beautifully in the Chief Justice of the Republic of Ghana?
Oh wow. My mom was a baker, and she did all sorts of things when I was growing up. My mom embodies work. She's alive. She's still very much alive. And this morning she wanted croissants. I mean, this is a fancy old lady, and she reminded me to add stuff for pancake. So this is a lady who is very much at home with her family life, with work, with everything she did. I think that my mom has been a great inspiration or a mentor for me, even though she didn't wear a suit to go out. She wasn't an office worker. I never saw her as an office worker, but my mom has made great impact in my life.
Right. There are many women in the country and perhaps beyond who, upon the announcement that you will be the Chief Justice, have come to follow you and admire the manner in which you are running the administration of justice. There are many young girls, ladies, women. What for you would you say they need to look up to or do to be able to get over all the hurdles in this male-dominated society?
I think first you must be at home with yourself. Right. You know, when I think of integrity, I don't think only about telling the truth audibly, but I think about being truthful with yourself. And that's something that can be a bit bothersome. People are anxious around others. They are not sure. They take their affirmation from their environment. I think that every person, and especially women, because there are just so many diverse thoughts about what a woman should be. If you have gone through school, you have become a lawyer, then get at home with the fact that you are a lawyer when you leave home. And at home, you are a lawyer in the context that you are preparing to go out to go and work. So at home, your wardrobe should reflect a readiness to go to work and not be late.
Right.
You know, you should have your jackets in one corner, your shirts in one corner, your bibs in one corner, and that's as much lawyering as you can do at home. But I think that people should get true to themselves. You know, you can't embark on a journey and still be asking questions and be looking behind you. Am I fit to be here? Should I have been here? You are here, and no one can take it away from you. So you should approach your work with that appreciation.
Right. There are those who are asking, we are told about the special things that women can bring onto leadership. You came into leadership of the judiciary, and within a very short time, in excess of a dozen practice directions, administrative guidelines, all seeking to fast-track the wheels of justice. That's unprecedented. What informs it?
You know, all I have done in my time in the law is practice. Even though I worked as the external solicitor for Tema Municipal Assembly, I worked for the Institute of Construction, Institute of Engineers, Institute of Architects. I've worked for many organizations and bodies. I worked as their external lawyer. And then I've always been in active practice. I started life with my legal practice with FIDA, and then also Fuga & Co. I worked with Fuga & Co. for 10 years before I set up a law firm with my good friend Aqua Sampson, Sozo Law Consult. And so I've been in practice. And then after law practice, I came to the bench. So I have known the pain of coming to court and not getting work done. I have known the pain of inefficient court staff. I have known the pain of processes that leave either a lawyer or a party confused. And then I've also been very active in judicial reform since I joined the bench. And so there were many things that I was involved in these reform initiatives.
Right.
And therefore, in becoming Chief Justice, all that was left was for me to implement those things that were already in the pipeline.
Some would say, why don't you approach it slowly and gradually?
Have you seen the English White Book?
Yes, please.
How thick is it?
Very thick.
It's very thick?
Volumes.
In volumes? Yes. Hundreds and about 1,000 pages for one volume.
Right.
I think any efficient legal system, and it must provide manuals for the citizenry, must provide manuals and guides for the non-legal staff, must provide directions for the legal stakeholders, and the constituencies are too many, and the work is too much to think about being slow. And thankfully, I didn't do this by myself. Right. You know, I think on the day I launched the leading justice strategies, I think I tried as much as possible to acknowledge the number of people who have helped me. There's been so much goodwill, and people are anxious to get stuff done.
Right.
And so it's leadership. One of the skills of a leader is mobilization.
Right.
That's one thing I have learned. And so I mobilized. And we have about 10 more to release very soon.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll keep releasing them until we've closed every gap.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You have about 10 more of these practice guidelines and administrative guidelines to issue. And you have also invited the generality of the Ghanaian populace to share in your vision. Another unprecedented, another first. What informed that?
Once again, I think I said that on that day, that we all know Chapter 11 of the Constitution starts with justice emanates from the people of Ghana. The law is determined by the people of Ghana.
Right.
Whether it's even customary law. Customary law emanates from communities. Statutory law emanates from parliament. That's the people's representatives. Even rules of court. Rules of court would come from the Rules of Court Committee, but it would go back to the ages. There is no law that is shaped by the legal community by itself. And so in that sense, when you are the chief administrator of the judiciary, which is an arm of government, that's overlooking work, the administration of justice for the entire nation, you must bear in mind that everybody has to work with you. That's my view.
So whilst you are rolling out these rules, guidelines, all for the purposes of improving the speed and also quality justice, you are introducing the shift system, which many applaud and a few are not too pleased because they don't want to go to court in the afternoons and in the evenings. Why do you add that to the bundle of rules?
I'll tell you the reason behind the shift system. I thought I had explained it, but I will repeat it. You know, that what case comes to what court is determined by geography. So how many cases are filed in Amasaman depends on the locality. So what I discovered in fact, as soon as I came into office, I set up a quality assurance unit. And what we did was look at the places that had the highest backlogs and try to understand what was happening there. And we discovered that there were certain places that had a very high number of cases. In a court like Adenta, high court, one judge had as many as 500 cases. Another judge had as many as 600 cases. Now you'll find in a place like Mampong, the High Court judge had 65 cases to deal with. Ashama Circuit Court, the poor judge had 1,000 cases. Now, when you have 1,000 cases to deal with, where do you start from? I can imagine that when he comes to work in the morning, he doesn't even know where to start from. That's when the adjournments just fly, right? Okay, so the question was, how do you lessen the load of those who have too many? And that's how I came up with this initiative, that judges who don't have too much on their hands should go and assist their brothers and sisters who have too much on their hands. But then we don't have too many courtrooms. So it's the same courtroom that has to be used. And since a person can just do so much, if the morning judge or if the regular judge really works from about 8:30, by 2, they should be getting tired. Then they can move out and somebody fresh comes in and comes to help. And I'm looking out for those caseloads coming down to something like 100. Once they get to about 100, and then I know my work is done and we can stop the shift. So it's not going to be a permanent feature of every location. It's going to be a feature of every location that's overstretched. When we notice that the numbers have gone too high somewhere, it's either maybe something is impairing the efficiency of the judge, or the caseload is too high, and then we go in there and help.
Okay, so it's on a needs basis and it's not permanent.
It's not permanent
so
for locations.
Rotate.
It's likely to. In fact, there are lots of courts still that need help. Takwa, for instance, has so many cases. There are many courts that need help. Sunyani, shout out to the people in Sunyani. I'm sure they are ready to beat me. They need more judges. They need more judges. So there are many courts that have just too much to deal with. And we have to find short to medium term solutions for that. And you can't just go gather the files and take it to Accra, to somebody whose hands are free. It has to be dealt with, because that's the law. The law requires that cases are filed in accordance with territories, with localities. So you have to go sort it out where it is.